sessions, but really these past couple of weeks, they've really switched on, and it's proven as they did get their first win. They've had 2 roster changes where they've brought in Bike and also No Aim. I would say that those 2 players are going to have to be the big carries, because I don't really expect, you know, the supports like Buster or Shattered, who's been here since the start. Not as strong as those 2 players, and certainly going up against MnM, where they have also a wider range of very capable players. They have fraggers, they have support roles, they have Glaz mains, which should be the ban that I hope that we will see getting banned out away. No, it's going to be Maverick, so this is where I start to fear for Horizon, because they're going up against a Glaz, which has been so dominant inside of that MnM roster.
Let's see whether they have a plan up their sleeve for dealing with it then. Obviously, they put Maverick up there as a bigger threat than that Glaz. They must know it's coming. You know it's coming. Everyone seems to know that that Glaz is on its way, so hopefully they have something in mind to deal. They've gone, and there is our first defensive ban coming through on Horizon with that Valkyrie. And of course, a very quick final ban coming through from MnM onto Mira. So some of these bans not too crazy surprising in the Lion and the Mira, but as we can now finally dive in to our opening round, Horizon's defensive opener might have a lot to show us for how this whole series is going to play out. As you've mentioned, that Glaz almost guaranteed to come out. Sorry, the other way around. Horizon are attacking first. We'll see how the Glaz shapes up when things switch, but can MnM hold them firm? Their first 5 defensive operators are Bandit, Jaeger, Maestro, Smoke, and Echo. So that's a lot of area denial in Maestro, Echo, and Smoke. They're going to control the spaces.
Yeah, it's looking pretty standard at the moment for MnM. I know that whenever we did see MnM play against Secret, they actually went for a bit of an unusual ban where they decided to go for the Smoke. This time I think they've kind of learned from their mistakes. They know how strong really Smoke can be for their team as well, so that has been let through this time around. So yeah, looking at it for a downstairs, you have so much denial, especially in towards that B bomb site, which is primarily where I would imagine the guys from Horizon want to try and pressure. But another big thing which has really hurt them for this particular bomb site, I'm sure they were probably expecting that cash room, is they don't have Abana, who is so great for this bottom floor simply because she has those X-Kairoses which are really good at getting open those hatches. And with Thermite, we're kind of going way back into the kind of year 1 meta where Habana wasn't around, and you really have to kind of pick what push you want to go for. It's either get 2 hatches off or a hatch and a wall potentially.
I was going to say the old season 1 meta when you didn't have Habana, or even the season since where you did have her option but didn't pick it, you go with just Thermite. You're kind of left with, say, that one push option of you open that bar hatch and then you try and open the church wall underneath it. If you can't get through there, you've got no way. Sometimes you can maybe see a team go for one option in they brought a Buck in that you open the kitchen floor completely with the Buck, but then you use one of the Thermite charges on the construction tunnel and you try and push from that angle with a man down the main stairs, but it's still not too hard for the defense to rotate from their standard positions to hold either of those 2 pushes. So there's not much of a worry from the defenses of, okay, well, we have to commit one side or another, because both of those strong attacks from a Thermite-only push are so focused on the same angles.
So Horizon, they will start to work their way in and start this room clear out. We know that Clubhouse can be played as a bit of a roamer haven as well, so yeah, getting this early access in towards that top floor really certifies yourself to start having that beachhead. And a map like Clubhouse, you have plenty of time that you really have at your disposal to clear out these roamers and get yourself set up for the push. We talk about so much that Clubhouse, especially for the bottom floor, it is pretty much a bloodbath at the very last second of the round where everybody drops the hatches or tries to push in through doorways, and it's kind of just refrag city where it's just whoever has the better angles being held. No roamers on the side of MnM. There may still be a couple of late rotations that potentially Citizen, who has been a very strong player on this roster this entire season. So yeah, I'm kind of expecting this late rotate, and talking about that, Citizen will do just that.
Yeah, called it perfectly. 5 players in the basement, not an uncommon strategy for the defense on Clubhouse, not especially on the old version. New version, as you mentioned, opens up more roam possibilities, and they chose to go for that late option. They had the camera in the garage, and now they're going to try and see if Citizen can make his mark. With a minute on the clock, it's kind of perfect timing for him too. That drone is alive, but he smartly hasn't killed it yet because it wasn't active. He didn't see it. But as the hatch has been opened in kitchen and the floor's been open surrounding it, it does look like Horizon are ready to try and make their push forward. Citizen now continues to creep on through up behind him. There are pings going out from some players, but I'm not sure if it's the attacking team who still seem to be unaware about Citizen's play here. His phone has gone off. That's the second Dokkaebi charge already used, but if they hear it above him, it might be something. Smoke charges are being used to deny the drop here to Kitchen, which means they know there's at least 1 or 2 players in there. That's why Smoke is using them. And this is Citizen chance to come down right behind it. And Leo picks up the first kill, and Raihazu, the IQ down. Bandit finds his first kill as Shattered is taken out in the main bar section. Comes on forward through to the main corridor. Dokkaebi has finally decided it's time to pay attention to Bandit in this direction. Does manage to pick up the kill. No aim with the first one for the attackers, but they still got the man disadvantage. 4 versus 3. There's Bakik pushing through the Kitchen drop, and the plant is going down. Another one drops through Kitchen, but no aim will be picked off before he's even hit the floor. And the Buster is trying to hold Smoke in that tunnel, but fails as Frau takes him out from a different angle, leaving just Bakik now all on his own. He's got 2 players to find after picking up another kill for himself, but the diffuser is down, and they're already on it. Maestro pushes aggressively. He will get down, but the man's sitting on the diffuser. He's holding it. He pulls off, but Frau picks up the kill in the last possible second and still has time for the defuse.
That was as close as you potentially could have played out that round. The diffuser somehow in the midst of all that action did manage to get planted, but just too little too late really for the Sophia. Couldn't do anything in that scenario. Too much HP on the Echo, not enough for the Sophia. And well, MnM with an excellent retake, they do manage to secure themselves the first round, and that's going to be the bottom floor locked out for them, but that's always going to be a good thing, as this does open up for that cash room still. And even if they want to, they could just go for the gym and bedroom right away. Not really expecting any bar and stock room sometimes. Since the new update that we had with Clubhouse, bar and stock just has not been played. I still think it's pretty viable. You know, look at it. A smoke rules that entire bomb site.
Like ever since it was changed, I couldn't help but look at it and go, all these changes have helped make it more defensible, and that was partly the point.
You can't plant a pool table.
No, exactly.
That was
you can't abuse the fact that you've got ACOGs on attack anymore and just cover the entire site with a couple of holes. You can't use a glass with a smoke and cover the entire both sites with the holes and smoke grenades. It's now harder for the attackers to get in and use, but teams still don't seem to favor it, still don't seem to want to try it. They know more than me, so I'm not going to question it, but there is still always that question of, okay, well, if you do have, say, that one tactic up your sleeve, because it must exist, there must be some way to make it work. When do you bring it out? When do you flash it?
Another thing about the old bar and stock was that you could never hold above. Cash room was impossible to hold, as those kind of rumors.
Yep.
No, you can. It's so easy for teams to hold that cash room as much as they can. They have the vertical play, which was always the thing that attackers wanted from that old bar and stock room. So I still think that teams should have a go. Make a strategy, test it in scrims first before you try and whip out in a Prem stage, but still at the same time, it's Clubhouse and all 4 bomb sites are available, but like I said, I don't expect either of these teams to really have the nuts to go for that.
No, but they are in the cash room and the server location as expected. Sorry. And, well, this is a fairly standard looking setup. This is arguably the reason that the Mirror is banned away too, because she makes this site an incredibly tough attack. There are a couple of very important walls, though, that need to be opened here by Horizon's attack. One of them currently got a bandit sitting right by it, waiting to try and juggle. The defense, once again, an identical set of operators for MnM. See whether Citizen can get away with a late roam this time. It should be a bit tougher for him because the attackers don't have to worry about quite so many angles. But regardless of that, I'd like to see them stay a little bit more active on their flank drones. They left a lot of them active previously, which is good. They're there and they should be doing a job keeping an eye on people. But no one was on them, so we just walked past them all without them gaining any information. No aim, pushes aggressively in through construction and picks up in Leo, who is running all over the shop because of the shots coming up through the floor underneath him. Very nice first pickup here for Horizon, getting the smoke off the table before he'd used any of his smoke charges.
Yeah, it's going to be a pretty big kill off the board because it then does deny that plant exposure that you have so much on the defense. Sure, you still have Maestro and Echo who can fill that role as well. But then again, IQ and Sophia can make very quick work off those gadgets, especially IQ and the Echo drone's biggest counter to the Echo is going to be the scanner. But at the moment, Raihazu downstairs trying to see if he can find any angles, that vertical game that we talk about so much that really Clubhouse does also provide. But at the moment, the players of MnM are holding strong, and I'm not entirely sure where Horizon want to go. They're kind of spread out. They could get picked off very easily in these 1 versus 1s, and talking about one, Shattered will try and engage onto Prox. A Roman Maestro, that's a new one.
It is.
We'll see if he can make anything work with it, as Horizon, they've kind of slowed down. They're not entirely sure what they want to do. We're really going to have to see if Bayek can, once again, get those big kills that you really need from your Sophia. We've seen how good he can be, but can he perform it once more?
pushing in aggressively, sees the Bandit, will lose that firefight, he goes down. They were more aware of roamers this time. Baik and Shattered were looking for flanks before this push came, and that's where they're at now. But the grenade lands perfectly at Citizen's feet and will take down that Bandit, giving the attackers a 5 versus 3 advantage. They've managed to revive Zofia, or rather she withstood, gets herself back up. Frau will fall, Frau will take Zofia out and giving the first defense kill. Prox has tried to fight again for that roaming Maestro and is low health, but is back to his team now. But the attackers have gained control of one of the sites. Echo moves from one position, he pushes aggressively in and will take down No Aim, but will he be traded back? No, he won't. Prox and Turtle grab a kill each as well, and now Shattered is the lone attacker. So only got a pistol in hand, does get the Maestro down, one more to fight, it's the Jaeger, and he steps straight into him, but will fall.
That was again another very close call for MnM, coming down to once again another 1 versus 1 Horizon. I think that they just took too long on that final approach up into the bomb site. I'm surprised that they didn't have Thermite rotate over and get rid of construction wall. That was so free for them. Yeah,
I mentioned there are important walls that need to get opened on this map. That is one of them. That construction wall, that CCTV wall that opens to the outside of the map, to that big balcony which you can rappel on, you can hang on, you get so much control over that bomb site, you need to get it open. And okay, there was a Bandit there, battery tricking, but you droned it, you saw where he moved to, you grenaded him out, you had plenty of plays, you had the window open too. There's plenty of opportunities to make a play and get that wall open. Yeah, it's harder when Maverick is banned, but it's possible. And they wasted so much time doing nothing, could have been doing that instead.
I'm still curious to see if we'll have any Montagna being picked up, because he has really been a big staple for Clubhouse, especially for some teams, particularly unnamed last week. It was played very proficiently by Madman against Secret. I'm curious to see if we're going to see potentially Horizon think, yeah, this isn't working. Do we need to pick a pretty big power operator? And that Montagna would certainly fill that role as that new kind of obstacle that the players of MnM would have to engage onto. MnM, they don't bring a Legion, which is one of the biggest counters to the shield. Really, Montagna's looking pretty tasty if Horizon sit back and look at it and think, yeah, they're not bringing really anything that causes issues for the Montagna. Sure, there's a smoke, but as Montagna, you hear it being cooked, you just walk back and then you walk forward again. Legion traps make it a lot more difficult for that final push in. But at the moment, MnM, they're holding strong. They have the intel being gathered from the Maestro cameras, primarily another big operator that did manage to squeeze his way past. And still shocked that both Echo and Maestro were let through. That's always a bit of a shock for me.
We do, however, see our first change in operators for the defense. MnM bringing Frau now onto the castle instead of the Echo. This is because of where their site is and because of how important that hot tub wall is. They've got a castle barricade on that gym door. They need to stop players sitting on that window and shooting those batteries, shooting that Bandit. They need to help hold that wall, which, again, is as important as the CCTV one is on the other side, on the cash room. But the question now becomes, do Horizon know this? And are they going to do anything about getting it open? No Aim is hovering around this window on the staircase because it is an option to go up and see it for him. He knows there's a player just inside and he's holding the angle for him, but he doesn't quite see him get down and under that ridge. I don't know if his drone is still alive. I'd imagine it was instantly shot. Baik, though, picks up the first kill of the round. Now No Aim knows he's there and goes for the fight, but neither of them landing any significant damage. But once again, the smoke is off the board before he's used any of his charges. 2 minutes in the round still to go. So without a smoke, that's a huge win for the attackers. Let's see if they can capitalize on it.
This has been the second time in a row that we've seen Nello get picked off very early on without using any of that utility, and also the second time that we've seen Prox go for a walk with Maestro. At the moment, Horizon, they're looking to enter in for their first bit of kind of phase 1. Is that going to be controlling off the cash room? They have the Thermite to potentially open up a cash room wall, which should be the correct play because there's no way they're walking through a one-way death trap off a doorway. No Aim still has one logic bomb at his disposal. Sees a bit of a pixel of the castle, but just not landing the shots. It's unfortunately hitting the bit of the wood. He's trying his best, but yeah. You okay? You okay, No Aim? I can see why his name's No Aim.
Hitting, to be fair. I've got to give him that one. It might have just bounced off the tassels on his uniform or something, but it looked damn close. As the push begins to come in from the other side now. Still haven't got any of these walls open. The Thermite, actually, he's used one charge, but I don't see where it went. He is still now running back now to the other side, looking for his team. There is a little bit of health missing from a couple of extra players, but nothing significant. The phones are ringing. Citizen actually going to use it to push aggressively as they go back out through the window. Does not look like Horizon know where they want to push right now. They put a lot of effort towards and a lot of utility towards taking control of construction. but now they're suddenly leaping back the other way, and MnM is still trying to take this angle and trying to pick up that kill. There's the bandit peek though, MnM wasn't ready for that one. Citizen picking it off. Great win for the defense, but Baik immediately turns back, taking down Turtle. Turtle, of course, clutching out that last round, now off the board. 20 seconds to go, and he's going to have to speed up. Frau goes down to Baik again. Zofia stepping up once more for his team. Multiple rounds now where he has been the key player, but Prox is roaming again as Maestro. Citizen goes for a wallbang, but he's taken out from behind as Shattered manages to jump back in through the CCTV window, meaning Prox is alone, coming up the stairs straight into Buster's crosshair. He will get tagged and not killed, but now they know exactly where he is. Comes the other way, actually gets the kill on Baik, but Rayazu will trade him straight back in the back.
I don't know where Horizon would be if they didn't have Baik. He has put on quite the show for us at the moment. This is only his second time playing inside of the Premiership. He played last week against Wind and Rain for his debut, and once again, just like that, he performed so big. So this has certainly been a massive boost in power that the players of Horizon really needed. So a great bit of roster changes, 6 kills for him at the moment. So MnM, they do lose their first round.
I want to give a quick bit of credit to Baik again on the first round. Yes, they lost it in the basement, but he was the sole reason they got as close as they did to winning that round. Because of him dropping through the bar hatch and MnM taking their attention away from that, he managed to get control of Church and shoot that Jaeger in the back and helped open up the site. The rest of the site was locked down and it was secure, but for some reason, the Jaeger and Church turned away from that drop and tried to help out the rest of his team that didn't need it. That gave Baik an opening and he really capitalized on it, and that helped crack the site open and get them the plant down. Unfortunately, the rest of it did fall down and didn't go their way in the end, but if that kill hadn't happened, if he'd have been taken out, that plant wouldn't have gone through. And then, as you see there, 6 kills now. That round was largely based on him as well. A lot of those important kill pickups. As you said, he has been a huge pickup for their team and is doing work.
Attackers need to locate and
I would still say that Horizon's attacks have not looked strong at all. They have wasted a lot of time just sitting there doing nothing whatsoever. They seem to be very scared at actually trying to challenge some of these players. At the moment, you wouldn't really want to try and challenge Citizen in the position he's been playing as that very aggressive bandit who has that great SMG, can really melt you in a matter of milliseconds. But they still have to go through, once again, this bottom floor defense. And last time it was very, very close. And we do see the Glass for the first time being brought on the side by Horizon. So they're going to go for, like I talked about, Montagna, another big power pick at the Glass can really completely change around if he gets 2 kills off his smoke canisters. But really, once you don't use his utility the way that you should, and you waste his smoke grenades, and you don't get any kills from that, he's pretty much just a guy with a sniper rifle with no cover under his smoke. So they really need to think about how they're going to play this out. They have plenty of utility. They have another set of smoke grenades with the Dokkaebi, who is still going to be brought. They haven't really used the Dokkaebi calls to the best of their ability either. Sure, they've rung it, but there's been nobody there to follow up on the aggression, which is the main reason why you bring the Dokkaebi.
Yeah, they were using them to simply locate players, which, okay, it's, you know, it's not a waste, but it could be more. You could also pressure when you use them. They're just using it to listen it out, hear for them, even when they're just droning, just find out where someone is, and then they just leave a drone watching the corner to make sure someone stayed there. And you could do more with it. I want to see where they put this. Oh, Citizen kicks us off, already taking out the Dokkaebi, so no calls happening this time around. The aggressive roam kicking off early as opposed to the late roam that they did previously. I was about to say I want to see where they put this Glass, because their previous attack of this basement didn't have a clear path where you would put his strength and power, but the construction tunnel is where I want to see it. And this time they've cracked it open to send him in that way. So we'll see whether or not he can make his way through there. There were 2 players playing in it on the defense first time around for MnM. They had Maestro and Echo sat in there to begin with, but obviously a camera up one end to watch for them. This time they're playing a little bit more mobile, but they do have eyes on this Glass and are ready to watch for him.
Already, the first couple of gas canisters will be deployed not just by Glass, but also by the Smoke and Rayazu, just walking straight in through the toxic fumes, and he dies from that! You've got to be kidding me. You've got to be kidding me he just did that. No way.
I can only imagine he presumed it was his own smoke. Nice shot from Prox on that tight angle, but I can only imagine he presumed it was his own smoke and just didn't look at his health or something. No words for what that is. Citizen continues his dominant force here as that roaming bandit. That Shattered will fall, leaving just the Buster on his own with no thermite charges left, and the Diffuser to try and push in. Maestro is up and aggressive and will be the first one to fall because of it. He's going to go for it and look for a long angle, but the smoke has already come back to lock off the push. Forces him around towards the church side. As he heads on his way through now, he looks for the rotate, no one on there. Actually got a lot of movement to get into here on church. And remember, he has the Diffuser. Now, I'd be surprised if they let him put it down, but So moving around into blue, he's checking every corner he can, but it's now been spotted. There's Frau in the back corner on the Echo. Will miss those shots, but now he's being flanked himself as well. Is he ready for it? He was. He trades, actually gets the kill on Citizen, who was coming behind, but Nello was there on his flank to finish him off.
Yeah, still MnM holding their ground. A lot more of a stronger round from MnM. It wasn't as close as what the other ones have been, but still, Ryazu, you are playing class. You are a massive threat to the side of MnM, and for you to just walk through a toxic fume, I know that you said, oh, maybe he didn't think it was. He heard that also being cooked. He heard it being thrown, and it's a very distinct sound whenever you hear the smoke pull off his gadget. I think that he was potentially going for the kind of risk where he thinks he's to the hard right inside of tunnel, but at that stage, Nello just seen the smoke grenade, tossed one back, and just ran away, and Ryazu just wasn't quick enough. He didn't snap on to think that guy might have just ran away.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. Like, I saw the logic. I wanted to give him benefit of the doubt in that, you know, maybe he wasn't realizing the damage, but yeah, the idea was there, right? Okay, well, he's thrown a smoke, he's going to now hold behind it, so I'll push through it and surprise him, because he won't expect me to do this, but there's a point where you realize, he's no longer still here, and he didn't come to that realization fast enough. He didn't pull out and realize that, yeah, this is not working. But as it is, the final round of this half, Lou throws MnM back up to the top floor of cash from CCTV. Let's see whether or not Horizon can get through that all-important wall this time over. Batteries are, of course, already down again. The attackers, once more, not bringing anything to take them down from the outside. No kind of Thatcher blade. They've got Glaz in the mix again. But from, again, the way they attacked this previously, I don't see how they plan to use it. They used all of their utility previously from below, just making holes underneath, making them run around upstairs and hoping someone would walk into them. They got a bit lucky with no aim aggressively on Dokubi actually pushing through construction and getting someone inside the bomb sites who was not expecting his presence. But that's not a mistake MnM are going to make twice in a row. And now no aim's on Ying as well, so I suggest maybe they are going to go for speed with him, or at least just go for, as you say, that smoke, flash, hardcore aggression tactic with a Glaz behind this point.
Yeah, I love the way that just over time the attacks have progressed from very standard operators that you can get a very good push going on to just pull out Ying and Glaz to try and just force your way in. And sure, it's a viable tactic. She's not banned. Use the power that she brings. But at the moment, they're just going to be setting up, not even going towards that double wall over the balcony. I think they're just going to try and use these Yings, these flashbangs, get rid of the ADSs, and then the frag grenade gets thrown in by Shatter. Does it land anything? No. Misses. A Citizen dancing around, just playing in the palm of his hand.
It should have. No, it didn't hit the batteries. I was going to say, it should have hit the batteries, though, but that's what he missed. Now the drone's going to go in to confirm. Buster's drone in the hole does spot Prox, but didn't see Citizen. Now it does, but will get shot for it. He gets the information he's after. They know the batteries are still on the wall. They've got one more grenade in the hand of Shattered. No, they don't actually. They used both of those. Didn't see the second one go off, but it also didn't get its job done, and that's rough. Maybe all she wrote for Horizon's attack. They threw everything already in through that one window. They've now got to try and muscle their way in the other side with very little remaining utility, and they're telegraphing that fact thanks to these big, loud shotgun blasts pre-fire here, with the fact that they're sat on top of the Maestro camera as well. Smoke grenades are already going out to block out this entryway, and well, that's one of three that can block an entire minute and a half of the round, and there's only a minute left to go. They do have one thermite charge to crack this wall on open, and there's a couple of players sitting right behind it. Are watching just in case it gets destroyed by Maestro, but it will not. So the wall is open. They do have a way into the A site, but it's still very much funneled through the same direction.
They have had to basically just force their way in through that A bomb site, but at this stage it's so easy, not just for Maestro and Smoke to hold it, but really anybody who holds an angle just inside of the B bomb site. Buster has to go for the plant under the cover of the smoke, but those toxic babes in the Maestro camera will start to tag him up as Prox does finish off Bayek. Another kill for the side of MnM as Nello with a shotgun swings on around, and just everybody from Horizon are starting to fall. Ryazu gets one back for himself, but then Citizen cleans up with a double kill, and even in the midst of all of that destruction, the diffuser somehow got planted, but it was all for naught as MnM, they take the final remaining defense round for themselves, and then they now move on to the attack.
MnM went for the smart play, right? You know the plant's going down, but you can't see who it is. You throw a smoke somewhere nearby, and it did do a bit of damage to the thermite, but you don't worry about them trying to blindly kill him in the smoke. You push the other 4 players, because you know you're 5v4 right now. There's one person who is occupied with the plant. You go for the rest of them, and they did start to get a lot of kills back and forth. Yes, the plant then finished, and they started to stabilize, but then they were 5v3. They lost a couple of other players and went back, but then they're in a 4v2 situation when they finally got that first kill onto Glaz, and at that point, Citizen was also just free roam to sprint outside and flank both of those 2 remaining players and cut Horizon to pieces. It was a nice idea for them to, you know, go for that smoke cover plant because, as I said, they'd used up all their utility trying to go elsewhere. The best of a bad situation is what I think they tried to make of it, but MnM just played it perfectly on the retake.
Definitely over towards that construction. It's a lot more easier for the defenders to have all that control. You can sit in these very nice, tight, narrow angles. You can even, if you open up that garage double wall, you can have a line of sight from the staircase over towards Catwalk, straight in through towards that plant spot. It's a very nice angle you can really hold, and that's why then teams like to shift to try and take control of that B bomb site and take control of Catwalk. That makes things a lot easier, but like you said, just the utility was not used properly. They missed both of their frag grenades, and I don't know how you managed to do that. And then they just kind of go for a panic play. Doesn't work, and just like that, they fall 1 by 1. But they will be on the defense. We'll see how they can cope with this. They have been a better team on the defense, so this is going to be pretty rough for them because equally MnM have been very strong on the attack as well, if not stronger than on the defense, because the fact that they have the Glaz. I said at the beginning of the game, Glaz is going to be a 100% pick rate for MnM inside this matchup, and already being brought to the table, and this is what we've seen from MnM a lot more commonly used, is going to be pushing towards Catwalk, open up the B wall, and go for the safest plant under the cover of smoke grenades.
Yeah, and they've got those secondary ones coming from Cafe Tower as well to also assist. They are spotting out the Maestro camera at the top of the staircase and dropping their flank charges down. They'll take that Maestro camera out with one of Citizen's charges, but they also have this back angle here that Turtle will use. They, as you said, have brought both Thermite and Air Banner, so they've got plenty of ways to breach this wall. And they have sent both players around there for now to do so. They, with the Legion, could be a key player here. We were talking about how big he's been on their attack rounds, the ones that they won or the advantages they gained. Legion now is another big operator for the end of the game. Looking down through that hole, no aim, does spot the Ashe, but will take more damage than he dealt. Look for her again, finds her on her way out the door. That was a hole he made, so she wasn't aware of that one. And he does make him pay for it. Citizen will fall, and the defense do get a bit of a respite with a man advantage now. Shattered, though, taking the long-range fight through the garage door, regrets it slightly. Glaz comes inside, though, and will find him straight through the gaps and the smoke grenade. And even though there's firebolts there to burn out one end of the catwalk, Horizon are confident, not Horizon, MnM are confident that it's clear. We'll reset, we'll back up, drone the next step, and then we'll send their Glaz in for another kill.
Yeah, 1-for-1 trade, bit of utility used by MnM. They've already used one of the smoke canisters, but they still have the capo alive, so you can certainly use those asphyxiating bolts that don't even have to worry about the ADSs as well. But their next stage is going to be getting rid of that B, but no aim does deny Nello that access with that very long angle, gets tagged up quite a bit himself and does get the reset handed to him. So this is a minute to go for MnM. They haven't opened up the wall. Ryazu is still alive in a very aggressive position to shut down anybody trying to jump in through the catwalk. This is going to be some pretty quick plays from MnM if they want to make this run work.
Yeah, they haven't even taken out the trophy systems or the default camera here in the garage. Thermocharge, though, does go off on the wall. They managed to take out the batteries, and there was no one there to stop it, so the wall has been opened up. It is 38 seconds to go, but this is a good position here for MnM. The question is, can the retake come on in? Glaz is starting to open up a couple more angles. They've pinned a lot of the defenders into the opposite site. They can see through these tiny little angles now using the Glaz, but the fire is already coming in. Flash grenades pushing deep. Turtle's now starting to flank. More smokes and more burning going to come out towards the A side to keep the defenders in there while the plant goes down, but the Maestro camera is out. Ryazu's C4 takes down Frau and drops the diffuser. 10 seconds to go now, and the aggression starts to come out from the defense. Baik and Ryazu grab another kill each. Round the back is Turtle, but Baik pushes in for him and picks up his third of the round to secure it for Horizon.
Yeah, it was a very quick cleanup from Horizon, and just the fact that they denied that catwalk for so long, it really surprises me. Once you clear that catwalk, it should be easy pickings for MnM. They walk over, they get rid of the bandit charges, the wall gets blown open, but no, that very long angle being played by MnM was the big factor in that. He managed to down the glass, wasted even more time for Horizon, and even just MnM getting that very early kill onto Citizen, who has been one of those main impact players who really opens things up, gets those kills kind of in and around that mid game, kind of the early game as well. If that went a different way and Citizen was alive, who could have then put some more pressure from below, stop MnM holding those angles in, that could have went a different round. But just the way that that very sneaky hole being made by the Maestro did manage to catch Citizen by surprise. And, well, we do see Horizon bounce back with their first defensive win. And can they carry on this momentum, as they will have the Church and Arsenal room up next?
Yeah, as you say, there was a bit of a hesitation, I think, on the attack round from MnM after they got control of that catwalk. They should have got up there and started pushing the side quicker. But once they did have all the players locked inside B, what would have been great, as you say, would have been Citizen from below. Maybe not on the Ash, because he's a bit aggressive with that dive, but if you'd have put him on a buck, he doesn't actually have to be able to shoot with the gun very well. He doesn't actually have to stay underneath the block. Just make the floor plasterboard and just decimate it.
For a couple of frags.
Yeah, there's nowhere in there for the left to stand. They cannot be safe inside that B site. And then you've got full control again. So yeah, maybe losing your glads does suck, but you already had the job of pinning them back. And you've got the floor destroyed, so there's nowhere safe for them to sit. And that could have still gone MnM's way. So ultimately, a good round for Horizon, but not flawless and not unbeatable should MnM have to do it again in a moment.
Now this is the difference between MnM and Horizon, is that MnM, they've realized, oh yeah, Hibana's pretty good for this map, and this should be a lot more easier for MnM to find a push. Horizon attacked this bomb site twice and they lost it twice, so that kind of has to tell you something where a team doesn't bring Hibana for her arguably greatest bomb site in the entire game. I'm sure this will play a lot more differently as MnM. They have more of that hard breach destruction. The church wall push could potentially be an option for them as well, which, you know, it's going back a long time ago, back in Season 1, but has seen a bit more of an uprise currently just with the way the meta has planned out. I'm more expecting just for these guys to open up the hatches, get a bit more destructibility in, especially where Nello is. If you try and eliminate whoever's going to be inside of that B-bomb site, then that kind of opens up your kitchen push, which is... It's very simple for teams to basically walk in, take from the kitchen, and go for the plant, just like we've seen Horizon do for their attacks.
So they've cleared the upper floors. They're happy with what they've found, but they found a bandit waiting at the bottom of the stairs. Citizen was right behind that drone, though. Will hit the Legion mine afterwards, but the kill is done. And bandit's off the table. Ryazu, who had a big part to play in the defense of that last round with his C4 and his quick kill to follow up, did a big job, but no longer in play this time. Minute 35 to go. Decent amount of time here for the attackers to continue to pressure the basement. Interesting to see Shattered inside that blue room. It's not a commonly played spot anymore since the changes to the map, as it is very easy for the attackers to get control of it, but as the majority of the attackers seem to be coming from the other end through this main staircase and through the bar, it might be an important position here. They do have one drone coming around the back. Nello on his own, though, could really crack this open, and so it's going to be important for Shattered to try and keep him out. There's Legion mines going off all over. Prox hits one as well. His first wall's pre-batteried, of course, so even though Bandit's dead, not the end of the world. Will even take a little bit of damage from them because he tries to take out that barbed wire, but is cautious of the other side.
This is the lack of the Thatcher coming in to really hurt MnM. This would have been an easy church wall push if they decided to bring that Thatcher. You could have had Prox or potentially Freya open up just even a hole. You know, Hibana hole would be great just to try and shut down anybody playing inside of church. And with 30 seconds to go, this is kind of where we start running into the bloodbath that really Clubhouse does bring. So the drones do come in. This will be the final phase for MnM, just to try and figure out these final remaining defenders may be located. MnM gets things started up, and Nello, he will start using that utility that Sophia has. And Shattered, is he going to be ready for this aggression? But no, Sophia not even going to follow up with the push. MnM, another kill for him. But then we see the quick peek around from Shattered, who wins that gunfight against Sophia. 2 versus 4 into a 1 versus 3. As Turtle will be by himself. Shattered sees the capo. MnM just holding strong. Turtle, you're going the wrong way. Pistol comes out. This is just, whoa, Shattered comes in with a knife. What a final round was that? It was just back and forth constantly. Shattered just says, you know what? Pistols aren't working. Let's just try and stab him.
Turtle going to be a little bit upset. Tries to fight with the down smoke. Obviously not aware. Nello's push was nicely held there by Horizon on defense. Yes, the concussions went off and stopped that Jaeger from peeking, but smoke was there in time, and yes, he peeked out and didn't literally get the kill and held Nello off, but it was long enough for the concussion to wear off, which means then when Nello did think he'd got the kill on smoke, or automatically he had downed him, when he was ready with that confidence, Jaeger was back in play and was able to hold him off, and that did mean they held that blue side and were ready to focus back the other way. The other way had lost a couple of players, weren't at their full strength, but because that backside Jaeger was still alive, he was able to turn and take the fight to Turtle. Thankfully, Turtle didn't know the smoke was down and couldn't give Jaeger his full attention. And unfortunately for Jaeger, he missed a lot of his pistol shots, shattered, not landing as many of those he's needed, but thanks to the split attention of Capital, the knife was able to come out.
So we will see a gym and bedroom, the first one for the players of Horizon. Still no barn stock. Again, I hope that teams have listened to what we've talked about and really think about, consider at least trying it. I would still like to see one before the end of the season comes around. But at the moment, Horizon, they still are looking pretty strong, just the way that they won those past 2 rounds. Now they have gym and bedroom, which is still another good bomb site. You could still do a lot of damage, but it still comes down to really how well you hold that cash room side. And I'm liking the way that Horizon have set themselves up. They've brought the castle barricade to try and sanction off some of those angles. It's been primarily over towards the windows that they've kind of opted for, but interestingly as well, no bandit to go for the bandit trick on that jacuzzi wall. That's a bit of a worry, because they've even put the shield down, but they don't have a bandit.
I mean, it might give off the impression to MnM that they do, or that they're willing to hold it some other way, but it is strange, you're right. And as I say, it's kind of clear that Horizon don't really prioritize that wall.
That's what they've done.
Going to play there instead. But it's kind of clear that Horizon don't really prioritize that wall, because when they were attacking, they ignored it as well. They didn't want to open it. They didn't care for playing that location, but now they're going to suffer for that, as the wall does get opened right up. And now they are in a bad spot, because 1, that's open and that's a huge play. 2, their own rotates and things and their own counterplay to it is cut down by their own castle barricades, which normally when that wall gets opened up and for play for that, the attacking team would have to open them for you. So then you get it back later in the round just to get that wall open. But they've had it open now for free. There's nothing to stop them. So now all those things remain closed and the retakes is not there. Citizen triple steps on up and picks a 3K out of nowhere. No one from Horizon was watching that direction. Now he's coming back on through. He picked up his 4th. Shatter's got the 1 in return. Frau down, leaving Citizen now looking for Shattered for his 5th and final. They now know exactly where he is. He's holding the angle. Shattered has to come back to his site. He knows the rest of the team's there. Here he comes, steps into the crosshair, gets tagged, but he's not down. Citizen can feel it. He can taste it. He knows it's coming his way. Around the corner he comes. There it is. Citizen with an ace. 4 headshots in amongst it as well. What a round from that man.
Wow, Citizen, another big play for him. Ever since he joined this MnM roster, he has been an absolute rock of a player. He has shown up on so many occasions against also some of the big teams as well. It's not just, he's doing it against some of the weaker sides. He's done this. He's played against Guidance. He's played against Unnamed. He's played against Secret. And he has always held his own against and leading the pack. 12 kills from him. Sets MnM up with at least a point from this matchup, but I'm kind of expecting this to go for the full 3 points as MnM just after that very quick round. They're poised and ready to take this CCTV room and cash room.
12 kills makes it sound like he's doing a huge thing. Don't get me wrong, he's doing great and he's helping his team, but you take that last ace away, he's only on 7. Next guy is 6 kills behind him. MnM have all been stepping up and are all doing very well in this game. But yeah, that last round, of course, propels him above and beyond. And now we got to look at Horizon. Now we got to think about their headspace, right? Something that weaker teams and less experienced teams tend to fall prey to is getting a bit tilted, getting a bit knocked off course. Not necessarily angry, not necessarily upset, but when you get aced like that, when you lose that hard in a round that now has put you out of range of the win, it's a tough thing to get back up from. But if you can do it, there is still a point here to play for. You can still get these next 2 rounds and take something away from this matchup. If they can shake off and forget about that previous. They are going back up to the catch room, the CCTV room. They did do okay and did well, in fact, to hold this on their opening round and their opening defense. Can they do it again?
Attackers recovered the diffuser.
Still plenty of denial action from Horizon. They have the smoke, they have the Maestro, no Echo. Instead, they have opted for the Legion to try and hold that catwalk area a lot more. And really, we've seen a couple of the Goo mines really come into big effect, especially if you have somebody playing very aggressive, trying to push in towards the catwalk. A Goo mine can stop you right in your tracks. It kind of gives you that panic factor where you're stuck in the middle of a staircase where you cannot sprint away. Yeah, it kind of shakes you up just that little bit more as an attacker. And MnM, they've actually surprisingly dropped the Glaz. They thought that Glaz didn't really do a whole lot on this last attack, and instead they have decided to switch it up. They still have those asphyxiating bolts from Kappa, which does make a lot more sense with trying to take control of this catwalk. And already, Shattered's going to be feeling the flame from MnM, and he does just that, gets downed. Not out, however, can still potentially be picked up, but I really highly doubt it. There you go, Freo. He manages to snag the kill, and another kill as well, this time on the side of Horizon as Bike. He wins against Citizen, a massive player off the board for MnM, but at the same time, they've took control of Catwalk, and they can really start working on the final remaining anchors.
Here's the thing though, they took control of Catwalk last time and they still couldn't quite get in to do the job on the site. Also lost Citizen early that last round as well. He's their pressure from the other side, he's their pressure on the flank, that's now gone. Now that all of MnM's attack is going to be coming from this same direction, yes, they've got the wall open, which helps them a little bit more this time, but is it going to be enough? Everyone from Horizon can look this way, can focus this way. The C4 to stop the plant was a big impact to the last defense of this. That can happen again, even with the wall open. They've got more time to do it this time with a minute 15. The smoke is still standing this time as well, though. So will Horizon's defense hold? Baik on the Legion is an odd one to roam, as you mentioned, because of how strong he can be by staying in the game for a while, but he's now back up and is putting out these traps into the perfect spot to hold that open wall. No Aim has got his cameras in place and they're providing so much information to the defense, but Ryazu is still waiting for his opportunity to show up. In comes Frau now with the diffuser in hand. He sits in the spot and looks for the plant. Ryazu will take down the kill on Prox. They have the plant for the... There's the ping for the plant and down it goes.
Attackers recovered the bomb diffuser.
That was so big of a C4 as Nell will try and retain control of the bomb site. His defuse will try and be established by Turtle, but he will get tagged up. But no, Nello will save his teammate's life, but the double Maestro camera comes into such big play. Nello will still be lit up from below. Ryazu trying his best to find his third. No Aim will swing around. This should be an easy kill for him, and it will be just that as Nello falls and Horizon, they stick strong. And we will be going to all 10 rounds inside of this matchup between MnM and Horizon. They managed to pull off the hold. They stand their ground, and really if it wasn't for Ryazu there with the C4 from below, that could have went a whole lot differently.
Bigger than that, if it wasn't for Baik winning that fight with Citizen, that C4 would never have happened. They couldn't put a player down there. They couldn't leave him down there and wait for that if they had Citizens to deal with, if they knew there was a man floating around. But they knew he would be playing for that. They knew he'd want to do that. And they knew what kind of player he is. They knew he'd be in early, that he'd be in fast. Baik went down there to fight him, and he won that fight. And that opens up the whole ground floor. And then MnM could have, but didn't, put anyone else down there to fill that role instead. And that allows Ryazu, as you say, to do what he wants and to C4 from below and to pick up these extra kills and to stab them in the back. And it's great to see Horizon keeping, as I said, level-headed and steady. They knew they could win that defense. They just knew how to do it, take out Citizen, and then hold, because you know how the attack's going to form, you know where it's going to come from, and you know how you're set up to deal with it. And it's a good setup. And they used it again to perfection. And now they are one round away from taking a point out of this.
So it will be the final round, and it will be all decided on the church room at Arsenal. Last time Horizon, they did manage to hold their ground pretty strong on this bomb site. I would say that MnM were a little bit shaky in where they kind of wanted to push from. They didn't really want to go for that final call where everybody pushes and collapses onto the site at one time. It was just they ran in one by one and just got picked off one by one. But we have seen MnM in the past. They've bounced back from these very silly mistakes that they've made, and then they've managed to rectify those said mistakes. And MnM, they've opted for the Montagna this time. This is an operator that I've said is very strong on this particular map. We'll see if Nello can do any damage. He has played Montagna in the past, and that's going to just provide another, not just necessarily a big massive wall, but another source of intel, which they've kind of been lacking.
I imagine he's going to use it the same way he tried to use the Glaz, right? But this is a much safer, less risky way to do it. He doesn't have to worry about getting the kills. He doesn't have to care about being shot back. He can just stroll his way down the construction tunnel, take control of it, and command control of it. Oh.
This is an old one.
This is an old squad. So I was going to talk about how MnM's picks were a bit of an old meta thing.
I haven't seen this in Season 1.
No.
This is a strategy that is very old, but...
Frav did it on his own.
He's missed... He didn't put the deployable shield in the correct place.
No, he didn't quite land in the right spot, and so he does get taken down, and the wall gets opened up, and now Montagnier will continue his slow walk down that tunnel. Now up to Maestro and Smoke to keep him away from there, but that's a very, very tough job, especially for a team with a player disadvantage. I like the idea from Horizon. You know how important it is to hold that tunnel. You know exactly that MnM are going to push through it with, it was a Glass previously, but now you know it's going to be a Montagnier. But a little bit too greedy for that bandit that throws his life away in the process.
I have to commend them for at least trying it. It's a very old strategy which could have worked. Who's to say that MnM would have just went and slapped it down? That would have been a momentous task for the bandit to actually pull that off. Like you said, Nello just standing there, and Citizen, he will get the call out from the Montagnier, knows that he's going to be rotating back and uses those holes in the floor that he made himself. Doesn't even need the buck. The Ass Launcher will just do enough.
So there's the teamwork they wanted to do, right? No aim here on a camera, shooting the Maestro in the back with a smoke grenade in the front to keep him in spot. But Smoke gave up too much of the tunnel. The Maestro now has no view of that Montagnier. Maestro needed the smokes to keep him deeper up so he could actually do things to it. He's trying to tag him up from a distance, but it's not enough, and everyone's being picked off from above as Prox gets another kill. Baik now is down, with even No Aim is Shattered alone. They do pick up one, No Aim gets Citizen down, but now they're trying to retake the site. Shattered will get Prox. The plant is going down, but it is 3v2 again, and Montagnier's not got much health. They could pull this off. Nello hiding in the corner to give information. They know there's one man upstairs. There's the top of his head. No Aim gets it. For a man with no aim in his name, he's not showing me that right now, but he will step straight into Frow's pre-fire, and he will fall. Now Shattered is alone. Slightly mistimed, I think, on that peak there from No Aim because he is so low, and does catch that Claymore in the right moment. And now they've heard him above. He needs to look through his hole in the floor, sees the Montagnier, but he needs to worry about the Thermite. He's the one with the gun in his hand. You can hear the shots rattling through underneath it. He's going to drop looking for him, but it's straight into Frow's crosshairs. MnM, right on the cusp of that round, do manage to clutch it back out and get the 3 points, but Horizon, or No Aim specifically, is looking really good for a minute there to cause an upset.
I thought the clutch was on. That should have been an easy pre-fire for the Alda. You have so many rounds in that LMG that you know you've seen the Thermite lying in the corner. That should be the freest kill of your life. Didn't go that way, unfortunately, for Horizon, but nonetheless, MnM, they take another victory for themselves. They're still unbeaten inside of the league, and well, Horizon, they give it their best shot, and I'm still impressed with really how Horizon have stepped up their game in these past 2 weeks, and that's down to basically No Aim and Baik being brought to the roster.
I say No Aim there at the end, it was just a little bit of a, perhaps inexperience, being a new player coming in, just a little bit of getting caught up in the momentum. He picked up a lot of those kills. They were great kills, they were huge. He saw the Thermite, I can know where he is, I can pre-fire him, I can peek this. Didn't need to. All he had to do was wait until Jaeger got up to the hatch above him, and they could have peeked those together. You knew you were 2v2. You know Montaigne's just standing in the corner of the shield, and you'd seen where the Thermite was. Just sit and wait for the Jaeger to be in position, but he went a little bit too early, and unfortunately paid the price for it. But as I said, those are the mistakes you don't make only playing for a longer time. Those are mistakes you get as a newbie, and
that shouldn't be a mistake you make.
That shouldn't be a mistake you make at any level, to be fair. But it did go down. This is the situation with Turtle again here in blue. Shattered used up a lot of his ammo, but there you see Turtle was just too focused on this down player. He didn't realize that he was a down player, and it allowed Shattered to get off that knife.